Okay, hello everyone. I'm back here with the questions 6 and 7. I have grouped two questions because they are mostly the same. Okay, meaning the concept is the same. So, what is the question? You are working as a cloud engineer in the IT startup, functional IT startup called ABC Ltd. To host an e-commerce site, you have been employed as the cloud engineer in charge of the infra setup. You have been tasked to deploy X number of VMs for the project, where X is an integer, obviously. Since the e-commerce site needs to be highly available, the cloud architect in charge of the design and the build asked you to deploy all the VMs within an availability set. You want to use Azure ARM Templates for the deployment. Good. You want to ensure that the maximum amount of VMs stay up as much as possible in the event of a maintenance or a fabric failure. Keeping the above in mind, what should be the value for platform fault domain count in your ARM template file? So I am creating a lot of VMs using an ARM template. Okay. And I want to keep them in an availability set. So here, to answer this question, you need to know the concept of availability set. Then in an availability set, there are two basically properties in an availability set. One is the fault domain, another is the update domain. So it is saying that you need to keep the maximum amount of VMs up as much as possible in the event of a maintenance or a fabric failure. Keeping the above in mind, what should be the value for the platform fault domain count? So how many fault domains will it have? So this is one question, and the similar question, the only thing is the what should be the value of platform update domain count. So question 6 is for platform fault domain count and question 7 is for platform update domain count. To answer this question, the best blog or the best documentation is the availability sets overview. So basically, what is an availability set? It is a logical grouping of VMs which allows Azure to understand how your application is built, to provide for redundancy and to provide for availability. We recommend that two or more VMs are created within an availability set to provide for a highly available application and to meet the 99.95% Azure SLA. There is no cost for the availability set itself. You only pay for each VM instance that you create. So basically, to create a highly available infrastructure, you need to put your VMs in an availability set. The primary concept in the crude form is that if both VMs will not be down at the same time for any maintenance purpose, kind of like that. So say for example, the you have put 3 VMs in an availability set. Then since they will have different fault and different update domains, okay, we'll go into more depth. So you can consider that if my VM1 is getting updated, my VM2 and VM3 will not get updated at the same time. Once VM1 is getting updated, then VM2 will get updated. I'm talking about planned maintenance. And in case, for example, rack failure, okay, or power failure or cooling failure, if they're across different fault domains within a single availability set, then your if VM1 is faulty or the power failed for the VM1, but the VM2 and VM3 will might still be up because they're in different fault domains, and each fault domain has separate kind of, you can say, separate rack, separate cooling, kind of like separate power source and stuff like that. Okay, so how do they work? So each virtual machine in an availability set is assigned an update domain and a fault domain by the underlying Azure platform. Each availability set can be configured with up to 3 fault domains and 20 update domains. This is very important for our question. So up to 3 fault domains is a maximum and up to 20 update domains. So now let us consider update domains. What is update domain? Update domains indicate the group of virtual machines and underlying physical hardware that can be rebooted or updated at the same time. So when more than 5 virtual machines are configured within a single availability set with 5 update domains. So I have configured one availability set, 5 update domain. Then 6th virtual machine is placed into the same update domain as the first virtual machine. The 7th in the same update domain as the second virtual machine. So 1st and 6th are in the same update domain. So they will be updated together. But when they are updated or rebooted, the other VMs which are in the availability update domains 2, 3, 4, 5, for example, will not be updated. So only one update domain is rebooted at a time. A rebooted update domain is given 30 minutes to recover before maintenance is initiated on a different update domain. So this is basically increasing the high availability of your application. So let's say, for example, your application is deployed on 2 VMs. They are in 2 different update domains. So, and you have a load balancer in front of them. Okay, so when your VM1 in update domain 1 is getting updated or rebooted, all your traffic can still be served from the VM in update domain 2. Similarly, when update domain 1 is done, within 30 minutes it recovers, and then update domain 2, meaning VM2 in update domain 2 takes over. Similarly, fault domains define the group of virtual machines that share a common power source and a network switch. By default, the virtual machines which are configured within your availability set are separated across up to 3 fault domains. There can be 2 fault domains or 3 fault domains. While placing your virtual machine into an availability set does not protect your application from operating system or application failures, it does limit the impact of potential physical hardware failures, network outages, or power interruptions. So this is very important. If, for example, your code is buggy, then all the VMs will fail. There is nothing you can do. Fault domain cannot fix your code, right? It cannot fix any operating system error. But for example, you have 3 VMs, they are in fault domain 0, 1 and 2. Say the network switch for fault domain 0 is faulty, but still the VM in fault domain 1 and the VM in fault domain 2 are up. If you put everything in attached to the same network switch in fault domain say 0, everything is in fault domain 0, you are not using availability set, then if that network switch goes out, all of your VMs go out or become unresponsive. But in this case, your fault domain 0, even if one VM is out, or say for example it is not able to connect, the network switch is not working, VMs in fault domain 1 and fault domain 2 are working perfectly. Okay, so you can see here also, so it's not only about the compute, it's also about the storage. So you can see VMs are also aligned with disk fault domains. This alignment ensures that all the managed disks which are attached to the VM are within the same fault domains. Only VMs with managed disks can be created in a managed availability set. Number of managed disk fault domains varies by region, either 2 or 3 managed disk fault domains per region, maximum 2 or 3, just like the fault domain for the compute. So here you can see these are compute cluster, these are storage cluster, both are part of an availability set within a region. So there are 3 fault domains for this case, which is 0 fault domain 0, 1 and 2. So it's the virtual machine which is in the fault domain 0 and it is attached to the managed disk which is also in fault domain 0. So here as you can see, VMs are also aligned with the disk fault domains. This alignment ensures that all the managed disks attached to the VM are within the same fault domains. So now coming to our question, if you see the platform update domain count, sorry, first was platform fault domain count. So it can be 2 or 3. So it should be max value. The answer is max value. So you can see the answer is max value. Because I cannot put 2, I cannot always put 3 because maybe the maximum number of fault domains available in that region, for example, is 2. Okay. And a platform update domain count, it should be 20. So answer is 20. Why? So if you can see again, I am going back here. You can see each availability set can be configured with up to 3 fault domains and 20 update domains. So this question you needed to know availability sets, and also as a best practice, always put your VMs in an availability set irrespective whether you have one VM or more, because in future it is very easy to add new VMs to the same availability set. Thank you everyone.